All right, so let's talk about the difference between institutional exchanges and retail exchanges. Most of you are probably familiar with retail crypto exchanges. These are places like Coinbase or Gemini, Kraken, BlockFi, etc. These exchanges are really great to onboard people. They have super slick interfaces. You can usually trade on a mobile app, and they're a great place for folks to get started. But large institutions come in and they trade too much money for these retail exchanges. The fees are too high, and there's some other big technical impediments. So what ends up happening is the institutional exchanges are where institutions go trade, obviously. I'll use an extreme example. Somebody like LMAX Digital. Now, LMAX Digital, you've probably never heard of before. The reason why you've never heard of them before is because they only serve institutions. They're the #1 institutional exchange. And the reason why they only serve institutions is because it's a different type of product than that retail product. Retail product, super slick interface, really built for the individual user. The institutional exchanges usually have a ton of API support, and they're built specifically to handle large trades, high frequency of volume, and they have to be super, super resilient. You can't go down when there's any level of volatility. And that's where something like LMAX Digital really thrives. So we've got a couple of charts that we're going to show you that really highlight the difference between the retail and institutional market. First here, you can see that the total monthly trading volume and Bitcoin traded has been rising rapidly. If you go all the way back to January 2020, you can see that there was $5 billion of monthly trading volume, and then all the way up to $74 billion in May of 21. So really, really incredible growth on something like these institutional exchanges. The next chart that we have here shows the three most important factors to consider when selecting one of these cryptocurrency trading venues. And so you can see reliability of technology, the #1 thing. There's plenty of retail exchanges that people continuously joke about. Oh, it always goes down when price moves too much. Institutional exchanges can't do that. They have to stay up. They also have to have very deep liquidity. If people are going to come and trade tens of millions, hundreds of millions of dollars at a time, you have to have the liquidity on the exchange to be able to support that. And then lastly, low latency and certainty of execution. What this means is you can't have a ton of slippage. Institutions need to know that if they're hooking into your API or they're trying to do high frequency trading, that you're not going to have a ton of latency. And when they say buy or sell, it's actually going to get executed at the price that they want. Very, very important for these institutional exchanges. The next one here is, what do you see as the most significant infrastructure gap in today's crypto market? You can see one, access to banking. The institutions are having trouble getting banking for their digital or crypto focused trading. So that's getting improved, but definitely the #1 thing. Also, access to credit or lack of global regulation are some of those other top things that this report put forward from Arcane Research and LMAX Digital. And then next we have a chart that shows in the next 3 years, which two segments of the crypto market will account for the most volumes traded. Obviously, asset managers and funds and banks. No surprise here. They come into the market with much, much bigger dollars than, let's say, retail clients or even corporations. So more and more, this market is going to see institutional participation, everyone from large financial institutions all the way to the multi-billion-dollar hedge funds that are coming in, really trying to figure out what is their strategy in this market. And then lastly, you can see that we've got this chart that shows the average Bitcoin trade size by exchange. Now, this is a fascinating chart. Again, using the extreme example of LMAX Digital, only institutional exchange. They don't support retail. You can see that they are head and shoulders above Bitstamp, Kraken, Bitflyer, Coinbase, Gemini, Bitfinex, Bittrex, Itbit, and Binance US. Now, why are they so much bigger? It's because it's only institutions. It's a completely different market. And so if we go and we look at LMAX Digital's actual performance, year to date, they've had over $350 billion of total traded volume in the first half of 2021. $350 billion is a big, big number. And then you can also see that they're doing about $2.5 billion of ADV, and they've had a record high trading of $6.6 billion in one single day back in May. And so when you start to see these institutions coming in, it's just a completely different beast. And understanding the differences is important. One of the key features of these institutional exchanges that I think people aren't aware of is not only that deep liquidity, not only that resilience, but also low latency. Remember, if you think of Wall Street now, most of the people who are sitting on that trading floor on Wall Street at the New York Stock Exchange, it's more for performance, art, they're not actually there trading that much, right? Most of the trading on Wall Street is done via computers, via APIs, etc. It has been digitized. It is now a battle of the quants. It is now a battle of whose computers can execute trades faster. That is what is coming to crypto as well. You're going to see this more and more. And so these institutional exchanges like LMAX Digital, that's their job, is to basically focus on how do we get reliability on our exchange? How do we consider and make sure every time that there's high volatility, we have high uptime? 2, we have to have deep liquidity. But 3, we have to have that low latency. And so that's the big difference here between the retail exchanges and also these institutional exchanges. Last but not least, fees. Obviously, the big institutions, they come in size. They are not going to pay the same fees that you see retail traders paying. And so these institutional exchanges tend to be lower fees as well as the higher uptime, more resilience, deeper liquidity, and also kind of lower latency. And so it's a pretty incredible system that we're seeing be built right in front of our eyes. LMAX Digital specifically, they're able to leverage LMAX Group, which previously was in foreign currencies and other types of assets. They're basically leveraging all of that infrastructure and also the clients of LMAX Group for LMAX Digital. So those guys have a great head start. I've had David Mercer on the podcast before. Incredible guy. They've built a really, really cool business. So I think people just need to continue to pay attention. Institutional participation is just getting started in the market. We're going to see them come in more and more. And I think that we're going to start hearing more stories about these institutional exchanges that are obviously providing a different product to a different type of market participant. And I think that we're going to see tons of volume flow to the institutional exchanges. So keep your eye out, stay educated on it, and we'll see how it goes. What's up, guys? Bang, bang. Thanks so much for watching the Best Business Show today. If we're going to be the best business show, we obviously need the best partner. That's why the exclusive sponsor of the Best Business Show is SoFi. They're an all-in-one platform that allows you to invest in all kinds of different assets, including stocks, ETFs, crypto, IPOs, and they even have an automated investing function, if that's your thing. So before we start getting after it again, make sure that you go download SoFi, you get an invest account, and when you make your first crypto trade, regardless of what you buy, they'll give you $10 in Bitcoin for free. It's that simple. Head on over to SoFi.com/pomp to get started today. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope that you come back and watch more of the Best Business Show tomorrow.